Are you ready to grab your finances by the horn and ensure you're set up for success in the future? So many of us struggle with some form of fashion when it comes to our finances. It may not seem like it, but personal finance is a big deal. It involves the entire world of managing family and individual finances. There are savings, investments, budgeting, and much more. Gaining more knowledge in the various facets of personal finance will help you succeed in day-to-day activities and provide clarity to any financial decision, no matter how big or small. Let me walk you through 9 rules I consider essential in personal finance. Don't spend more than you make. Believe it or not, this happens way more than you think, and it can happen easily if you're not careful. It's simple to overspend and exercise less caution after payday when your bank balance appears healthy. When that paycheck hits and you've been slowly adding to that Amazon cart between pay periods, there's nothing more satisfying than hitting that checkout. This is certainly not the only way. However, there are a number of problems that lead to people living well beyond their means, relying on loans, and incurring debt. Here are some examples. Lacking a budget. Now we know budgets are not considered sexy in the world of finance, but they are necessary. Think of it as the safety net for your money just in case. Budgets are used in companies for financials, concerts and events that are in the planning phase, and even your employers with regards to certain employment positions. Although the value of a budget is sometimes overlooked, it is essential to maintain control over your spending and prevent future cash flow issues by having a plan in place for how to allocate your income and earnings. More on budgeting will be covered later. Focusing more on immediate satisfaction versus long-term benefit. This cause is partly due to human nature. Instant gratification is hard to beat. Even the most disciplined fight this battle often. We already have a natural tendency to act on our feelings at the time. This is because there is currently a painful cost with delaying gratification. And from a behavioral standpoint, that is not very exciting. We only consider what feels good right now when making decisions. This is why it may be harder for someone to save for retirement or take that extra cash and buy a new car that depreciates instantly. Stay strong, focused, and aware of your goals and what you can look forward to, and you'll be well on your way. Get and stay out of the debt spiral. About 80% or 8 out of 10 Americans have some sort of debt. There can be good debt, such as mortgages, home equity loans, and small business loans, just to name a few. These can increase your net worth or may have future value. On the other hand, if you have an impressive amount of credit card debt or a car that is nearly competing with your mortgage, that is what we cannot have. Let's reduce these ASAP. Here are some methods to check out. The first is the snowball method. By using the debt snowball method, you can treat yourself to victories as you work toward paying off your debt. First, you pay off your smallest debt in full. The money left over is then applied to your next largest debt. Your focus on debt repayment keeps increasing, much like a snowball rolling down a hill. Next, we have debt avalanche. Using the debt avalanche method, you pay the minimum amount owed on all your outstanding accounts, then use any remaining funds to settle the account with the high interest rate. You will have the most money on interest by employing the debt avalanche technique. And lastly, we have debt consolidation. Taking out a new loan or a credit card to pay off previous loans or credit cards is known as debt consolidation. You might also be able to get better terms for payback, like a lower interest rate, a smaller monthly payment, or both. By consolidating several debts into one larger loan, you're able to focus on one amount and prioritize the paydown. Creating an emergency fund is a must. Unfortunately, many of us have experienced situations where we need cash outside of our normal expenses. This may be a sudden car repair, the AC unit going out at the house, or even an unexpected layoff. Either way, these unexpected expenses can pose trouble if there are not any contingencies in place. In essence, an emergency fund is money set aside for unforeseen circumstances in life. In the unlikely event that you lose your job, the money will allow you to live comfortably for several months without incurring debt. Consider it as a kind of insurance. You're paying yourself money that you can use later, as opposed to premiums to a company. If a bad thing were to happen, it would be simple and quick to access the money. Well, how much money is enough? The amount you save for an emergency fund will vary based on your lifestyle, monthly expenses, income, and number of dependents. But as a general rule, aim to save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, this will take some time to slowly build up. However, depending on how much you're able to contribute, the quicker you're able to build up. Get your budget in order. We've touched on budgeting earlier in this video. It must be important if we are bringing it up a second time. Let me start by saying that you can absolutely afford the necessities and things that are important to you if you make a spending plan for your finances. A budget can help you find areas where you can save money, avoid debt accumulation, and regain control of your finances. Here are some tips to help you get the most out of your budget. Have someone hold you accountable. It was always easier for me to get to the gym when I had a gym partner to hold me accountable. Same logic here. This person will do the same for your budget. If you are married, you already have someone in mind. Once you found that person, get something going where you can have different check-in times so they can see how you're doing. Review all of your spending habits. Yes, we mean every single one. Look, we're not saying you can't grab that cup of Starbucks on the way into the office, but rather, you should just know how much. You may be shocked how quickly those iced caramel macchiatos add up. Even though it would earn you major brownie points if you tracked every penny that you spent for the entire month, you might not have made it a habit to look at past budgets to identify trends in previous months. Doing this in those budget meetings I mentioned with your accountability person would be ideal. Pay close attention on how you use your extra cash or fund money for any luxuries. While you're at it, ask yourself if your spending patterns match your financial goals. Always do your research before making a purchase. If you plan to buy something, even if the cost is not a big deal, it can be helpful to take a few extra minutes to do due diligence on what you're getting. 53% of consumers say they shop around before they make a purchase to make sure they're getting the best decision possible, according to research from Think with Google. However, there are still ways to improve your research to make sure you save the best money. Using a coupon finder like Honey as an add-on to your browser can help you find discounts, promo codes, coupons, and even deals when you shop online and add them to your cart automatically. It's almost effortless. Separate your emotions from your finances. It's no secret that we handle our emotions differently. Some people get comfort in eating, while some others prefer to spend money. While occasionally treating yourself to a small treat is certainly not a bad thing, obsessive spending can result in severe financial consequences. The first step in solving this problem is learning to recognize the warning signals by being conscious of your spending patterns, the times of day when you're most likely to make an unneeded purchase, and your emotional state. Maintain or work on fixing your credit score. Lenders can determine how likely you are to repay loans based on your credit score. What interest rates you are eligible for is also determined by your credit score. The higher your credit score, the higher your chances of getting approved for credit and getting the best terms. If you want to apply for a credit card, finance a new car, or need a mortgage to buy a house, you need to have a good credit score. Building or improving your credit score takes time, so it's best to start early in order to plan for any future financial objectives you may have. The 70-20-10 budgeting rule. Regardless of your income or debt load, you can use the 7-20-10 budgeting rule as a guide to determine how much of your income you can realistically use for savings, debt repayment, and spending. This is how it operates. We want to divide our income 3 ways. 70% is going to your monthly expenses, 20% is going toward your savings, and 10% is going towards any debt repayment. Naturally, you can change the categories to reflect your desire to save more money or pay off more debt. It's crucial to keep in mind that the secret to budgeting is to identify a strategy that suits your needs and advances your financial security. If you want to learn more about personal finance, consider subscribing.